The auditorium lights dim. 5,000 people fall silent. Marcus Hale stands center stage, illuminated by a single spotlight. Behind him, a massive screen displays an equation so complex it looks like abstract art. The Tesla founder, the quantum computing pioneer, the man worth $80 billion. He adjusts his microphone. "This problem has cost my company 3 years and $200 million, he says. His voice echoes through the San Francisco Convention Center. "Every AI we've built has failed. Every quantum algorithm has crashed." Camera flashes explode across the room. Journalists lean forward. Nobel laureates sit in the front rows, arms crossed, intrigued. Marcus gestures to the equation. "Solve this and I'll give you $400 million cash tonight." The room erupts. Whispers cascade like falling dominoes. Professors pull out tablets. Tech executives tap their phones. A woman in the back row wearing a volunteer badge stares at the screen. Her eyes narrow. "You have until midnight," Marcus says. 3 hours. The solution must be verifiable, elegant, and complete. A hand shoots up from the third row. A Stanford professor. Marcus nods. "Is this a quantum optimization problem or a—" "It's both," Marcus interrupts. "And neither." That's the point. The woman in the back row reaches for her notebook. Her hand trembles slightly as she uncaps a pen. She sees something. Something everyone else is missing. "Hey, where are you watching this from? Drop your country in the comments below. And if you want to see how this ends, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications." You won't believe what happens next. 12 hours earlier, Elena Torres sits in her studio apartment, grading calculus exams. The space is tiny. A futon doubles as her couch and bed. Bookshelves sag under the weight of mathematics journals and second-hand textbooks. Her laptop, 6 years old, screen cracked in the corner, sits on a folding table. Ramen cups stacked beside the sink. She's 34. PhD in computational mathematics, published once under someone else's name. Her advisor took credit for her doctoral thesis. When she objected, he blacklisted her from every tenure-track position on the West Coast. Now she tutors high school students for $40 an hour. She teaches night classes at a community college. She writes grant proposals that go unanswered. Elena closes a student's exam. Another perfect score from the kid everyone else gave up on. She smiles. Teaching has its rewards. Small ones. Her phone buzzes. A notification from a live stream channel. Marcus Hale is making an announcement tonight at the Tech Innovation Summit. Something about a challenge. She almost ignores it. Billionaires love their spectacles, but curiosity wins. She clicks the link. The stream loads. Marcus walks onto the stage. Elena's hand freezes on her coffee mug. She recognizes the equation behind him instantly. She's seen variations of it in her own research. The optimization problem, the one that could revolutionize logistics, energy grids, financial markets. She's been working on it for 2 years in her spare time. Her notebooks are filled with approaches. Dead ends, almost solutions. She's gotten close, so close, but never quite there. Marcus announces the prize. $400 million. Elena's breath catches. With that money, she could fund a lifetime of research. She could build a lab, hire a team, prove every person who dismissed her wrong, but she's nobody. She doesn't even have a ticket to the summit. She checks the address. San Francisco Convention Center, 30 minutes away by bus. Elena looks at her reflection in the dark window. Exhaustion shadows her eyes. Her sweater, dusty rose, worn at the elbows, has seen better days. She should stay home, grade papers, be realistic. Instead, she grabs her coat. Elena arrives at the convention center just as Marcus finishes his opening speech. Security guards check credentials at every entrance. She doesn't have a ticket. The summit costs $5,000 to attend. She walks the perimeter, searching for a way in. Near the loading dock, she spots a group of volunteers in ivory shirts and yellow lanyards. They're hauling equipment, managing registration tables. One of them sets down a clipboard to take a phone call. Elena makes a decision. She grabs a spare lanyard from an unattended table and clips it on. She picks up a clipboard, walks through the service entrance like she belongs there. No one stops her. Inside, the auditorium is massive. Chandeliers hang from vaulted ceilings. The stage gleams under professional lighting. She finds a seat in the back row, partially hidden behind a support column. On stage, Marcus paces beside the equation. "The rules are simple," he says. "Show me your work. Prove your solution. If it's correct, the money is yours." A woman in the front row stands. "My tea, Professor." Elena recognizes her from journal publications. "What if multiple people solve it?" "Then the first verifiable solution wins," Marcus replies. "But let me be clear, this isn't a riddle. This is a problem that stumped quantum computers and AI models for years," the crowd murmurs. Laptops open across the auditorium. Equations fill notebook pages. Elena watches the screen, her mind already dissecting the problem. Everyone is approaching it wrong. They're trying to brute force the optimization. They're treating it like a computational problem when it's actually structural. The flaw isn't in the math. It's in the assumption. They're solving for the wrong variable. Elena's heart begins to pound. She sees it. The entire solution unfolds in her mind like a map. It's elegant, almost embarrassingly simple. She raises her hand. No one notices. She raises it higher. A camera operator spots her. The lens swings toward the back row. The movement catches Marcus's attention. He looks up. "Yes?" he calls out. "In the back?" 5,000 heads turn. Elena stands. Her volunteer badge catches the light. Someone in the front row laughs. "Sir," she says, her voice steadier than she feels. "May I approach the board?" The laughter spreads. Not cruel but dismissive. "A volunteer." Some random woman in a worn sweater. Marcus studies her for a long moment. "What's your name?" "Elena Torres. You have a solution already?" "Yes, sir." More laughter. A man in a cobalt blue suit whispers to his colleague. Someone mutters, "This should be entertaining." Elena's face burns. Her hands clench at her sides. Every instinct screams at her to sit down, to disappear. She's been humiliated before. She knows how this feels, but she also knows she's right. Marcus raises a hand. The laughter dies. "Come up," he says. Elena walks down the center aisle. Each step feels like a mile. Cameras track her movement. She passes rows of professors, CEOs, engineers. Their expressions range from amused to annoyed. She reaches the stage, climbs the steps. The lights are blinding. The equation towers behind her on the screen, lines of variables and operators that have consumed years of research and millions in funding. Marcus hands her a marker. "The floor is yours." Elena takes it. Her hand trembles slightly. She faces the whiteboard beside the screen. Takes a breath. In her mind, her high school teacher's voice returns. Mrs. Chen, who stayed late every Tuesday to work through competition problems with her. "Trust your instinct, Elena. You see patterns others miss. Don't second-guess yourself." Elena uncaps the marker. The chemical smell grounds her. She writes the first line. The room watches in silence. Elena grew up in Fresno in a trailer park where rent was cheap and dreams were expensive. Her mother worked 2 jobs, cleaned offices at night, waited tables during the day. Elena did homework at restaurant booths, solving math problems on napkins while her mother counted tips. Money was always tight. Elena learned to optimize everything. How to stretch groceries for a week. How to fix a broken heater with wire and duct tape. How to find shortcuts that save time and dollars. That's where it started. The ability to see efficiency where others saw impossibility. In 4th grade, she corrected her teacher's probability equation. In 8th grade, she won a regional math competition. Her prize was a scholarship to a summer camp at Berkeley. Mrs. Chen recognized Elena's gift immediately. "You don't just solve problems," she told her. "You reimagine them." Elena earned a full ride to UCLA, graduated top of her class. Got accepted into Stanford's PhD program for computational mathematics. That's where things fell apart. Her advisor, Dr. Richard Moss, was prestigious, connected, and ruthless. Elena spent 3 years developing a novel optimization algorithm. Moss watched her work, encouraged her, then submitted her research under his name alone. When Elena confronted him, he smiled. "You're a graduate student. I'm a tenured professor. Who do you think the university will believe?" She fought, filed complaints. The department sided with Moss. They suggested Elena was confused about academic collaboration norms. Her dissertation defense was delayed. Her recommendations vanished. She finished her PhD, but the damage was done. No one would hire her. Moss's influence was too strong. Elena ended up tutoring, teaching night classes, watching younger, less talented people get the positions she deserved. But she never stopped working, never stopped solving. And tonight, standing on this stage, she has a chance to prove she was right all along. Elena writes the second line of her solution, then the third. The equations flow from her marker in clean, precise strokes. She doesn't hesitate, doesn't second-guess. Each step builds on the last like a staircase, climbing toward an inevitable conclusion. Behind her, the audience grows quieter. The amused whispers fade, replaced by focused silence. Marcus leans forward in his chair at the side of the stage. His expression shifts from polite interest to sharp attention. Elena reaches the core of the problem. This is where every other approach has failed, where quantum computers crashed, where AI models returned null results. Everyone has been trying to solve for X, the optimal path through the network. But that's the trap. X doesn't exist in isolation. It's dependent on Y, the network's underlying structure. You can't optimize the path until you optimize the foundation. Elena writes a new equation, one that inverts the traditional approach. She's not solving for the route through the maze. She's solving for the maze itself. The marker squeaks against the board. Her hand moves faster now, confident. She adds variables, eliminates redundancies, simplifies complex operators into elegant shortcuts. A professor in the front row stands slightly, squints at the board, sits back down slowly. Elena writes the final transformation. The equation collapses into something beautiful. 3 lines where there used to be 300. A solution so simple it looks obvious in retrospect. That's how the best solutions always look. Obvious. After someone finally sees them. She steps back, caps the marker, turns to face Marcus. "This is your answer," she says. "The system was trying to optimize the wrong variable. You don't need a faster algorithm. You need a different foundation." Marcus stands, walks to the board, studies her work in silence. His finger traces the equations. His lips move slightly as he works through the logic. The auditorium holds its breath. Cameras zoom in on the whiteboard. On Marcus's face. On Elena's hand, still clutching the marker. Marcus pulls out his phone. Opens an app. His company's quantum computing interface. He begins entering Elena's equations into the system manually. Elena's heart hammers against her ribs. She's certain she's right. But certainty and proof aren't the same thing. What if there's a flaw she missed? What if the solution works in theory but fails in practice? The phone screen loads. Processing. The system runs her algorithm against the original problem. Marcus watches the screen. His expression is unreadable. Elena can't breathe. A man in the front row stands abruptly. Dr. Richard Moss, Elena's former advisor. Her stomach drops. "That's oversimplified," Moss calls out, his voice sharp with authority. "She's ignoring the non-linear dependencies in the secondary variables. This will collapse under scale." Elena's confidence wavers for a split second. Moss is a renowned expert, published in every major journal. If he says she's wrong, but then she remembers how he stole her work, how he dismissed her ideas until they became his ideas, how he built his reputation on the brilliance of students he exploited. She straightens her spine. "Dr. Moss," she says evenly, The nonlinear dependencies resolve themselves when you restructure the foundation. The secondary variables aren't independent. They're artifacts of the incorrect framework. She turns to the board, writes a supplementary equation beneath her solution. Here, this addresses your concern. Moss's face flushes. He recognizes the technique. It's from Elena's original dissertation, the one he published under his name. She just used his own stolen work against him. You can't just... He starts. Marcus holds up a hand. Let the computer decide. He continues entering data. The auditorium is silent except for the soft tapping of his fingers on the screen. Elena watches the progress bar creep across his phone. 70%. 80%. A woman beside Moss whispers something. He shakes his head sharply, but doubt creeps into his expression. He's seen something in Elena's equations. Something that might actually work. 90% Elena's hands are shaking now. She clasps them behind her back, forces herself to breathe slowly. In through the nose, out through the mouth. This is it. Everything she's worked for. Everything she's sacrificed. It all comes down to whatever appears on that screen. Marcus's phone chimes softly. The screen flashes. He stares at it, blinks, stares again. Elena can't read his expression. Is that shock? Disappointment? Anger? He looks up at her, then at the audience, then back at his phone. Run it again, Moss demands. There's no way that's... I already did, Marcus says quietly. He turns his phone toward the audience, projects it onto the massive screen behind him. Green text fills the display. Solution verified, optimization achieved. Error rate, 0.0%. The auditorium erupts. Cameras flash like lightning. The crowd surges to its feet. Half the room is applauding. The other half is shouting questions. How long did it take her? Run it again. Is this real? Marcus raises both hands for silence. It takes 30 seconds for the noise to fade. 93 seconds, he says, checking his watch, from when she took the marker to when she finished writing. 93 seconds to solve a problem that's cost my company 3 years. He turns to Elena. What's your background? Elena's voice is barely steady. PhD in computational mathematics, Stanford. Currently employed. I tutor part-time. Shocked silence. Then someone laughs. Not mockingly this time. In disbelief. Marcus studies her for a long moment. You're about to be very wealthy, Ms. Torres. He extends his hand. Elena shakes it. His grip is firm, final. The 400 million is yours. The auditorium explodes again. Louder this time. People rush toward the stage. Journalists shout questions over each other. Security guards move to form a barrier, but Elena doesn't hear any of it. Her ears are ringing. Her vision tunnels. $400 million. For 93 seconds of work that took 2 years to develop in silence and obscurity. Marcus leans closer, his voice low beneath the chaos. My legal team will need to verify your identity, run background checks, process the payment. It'll take a few weeks. I understand, Elena manages. Do you have representation? A lawyer? An agent? She shakes her head. She has nothing. No one, Marcus nods. You'll need one, fast. Every person in this room is about to want something from you. He's right. Elena sees the crowd pressing forward, the cameras zooming in, the hands reaching toward her. Moss is still in the front row, frozen in his seat. His face is pale. He's watching his stolen legacy crumble in real time. Elena meets his eyes across the chaos. She doesn't smile, doesn't gloat, just holds his gaze for 3 seconds, long enough for him to understand. She won. Finally. Completely. A security guard touches her elbow. Miss Torres, we need to escort you backstage. For your safety. Elena nods, lets herself be guided toward the wings. The crowd's roar follows her. Questions, congratulations, demands. She reaches the curtain, looks back one last time at the auditorium, at the equation still glowing on the screen, at the life she's about to leave behind. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. She pulls it out. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. The solution is wrong. You're in danger. Don't trust Hale. Elena's blood goes cold. She looks up, scans the crowd. Who sent this? Another text. They're watching you right now. Act normal. Meet me at the loading dock in 5 minutes. Come alone. Elena's hand tightens on her phone. Is this a prank, a scam? Or is something very wrong happening? Marcus is talking to his team on stage. Security is organizing the crowd. No one is watching her. She has a choice. Ignore the message. Collect her money. Walk into her new life or follow the warning. And risk everything. Elena takes a breath. Makes a decision. She slips through the curtain into the darkness backstage. Elena stands in the shadows backstage, phone clutched in her hand. The loading dock. 5 minutes. Come alone. Her rational mind screams that this is insane. She just won $400 million. She should be celebrating. Calling lawyers. Processing what just happened. Instead, she's considering following anonymous instructions from a stranger. But something nags at her. The text said her solution is wrong. She ran through it a dozen times in her mind. It's perfect. Mathematically sound. The computer verified it, unless the verification itself is compromised. Elena moves through the backstage corridor. Stage crew members rush past, focused on equipment. No one stops her. She finds the exit to the loading dock and pushes through. Cold night air hits her face. The dock is empty except for delivery trucks and equipment crates. Sodium lights cast everything in harsh orange. She waits. Checks her phone. No new messages. Miss Torres, Elena spins. A woman steps from behind a truck. Mid-40s, black pantsuit. Sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Who are you? Elena demands. My name is Dr. Sarah Chen. I worked for Marcus Hale's company until 3 weeks ago. She pulls out her phone, shows Elena a corporate ID badge. I'm the one who designed the original problem you just solved. Elena's stomach tightens. What do you want? To warn you. Your solution is correct. Brilliant, actually. But Marcus doesn't want it solved. He wants it attempted and failed. That makes no sense. Why offer $400 million? Because he never expected anyone to succeed. Sarah's voice is urgent now. Elena, that optimization problem isn't theoretical. It's the key to his new AI defense system. If implemented correctly, it could track every digital transaction on Earth in real time. Financial systems, elections, personal data, everything. Elena feels cold that has nothing to do with the night air. I quit when I realized what he was building, Sarah continues. But I couldn't expose him without proof. Then you solved it in 90 seconds. She meets Elena's eyes. You just handed a surveillance weapon to one of the most powerful men alive. Elena's mind races. If this is true, why tell me? Why not go to the press? I tried. Marcus has lawyers that bury stories before they're printed. He has connections in every major publication. Sarah steps closer. But you're the solver. You have leverage. You can demand transparency as a condition of releasing the implementation details. I already wrote it on the board. In front of 5,000 people. You wrote the foundation, not the implementation architecture. That's still in your head. Sarah pulls a flash drive from her pocket. This contains everything. Internal memos, budget allocations, the defense contracts Marcus has lined up. If you go public with this alongside your solution, he can't bury it. Elena stares at the flash drive. Her entire life just changed. She was about to be wealthy, respected, free. Now she's being asked to throw it all away for a conspiracy theory from a stranger in a loading dock. How do I know you're telling the truth? Helena asks. Sarah's expression softens. You don't. But ask yourself this, why did Marcus have that problem ready to go tonight? Why announce it as a public challenge when he could have hired private consultants? Why make it a spectacle? Elena's mind clicks through the logic. Sarah's right. The whole setup felt theatrical, performative. He wanted witnesses, Elena says slowly. He wanted the world to see someone solve it voluntarily. So when he implements the system, he can say it was crowdsourced innovation. Open research, exactly. You're not just the solver. You're his ethical cover. Elena takes the flash drive. Her hand trembles. If I do this, if I expose him, I lose the money. The recognition, everything. Yes, I'll be destroyed again. Sarah nods. Probably. Marcus has resources most people can't imagine. He'll come after you legally, professionally, personally. Eleanor thinks of her tiny apartment, her tutoring gigs, the years of obscurity. She was so close to escaping all of it. But she also thinks of Mrs. Chen, her high school teacher who taught her that mathematics should serve humanity, not control it. She thinks of the students she tutors, the ones everyone else gave up on. She thinks of what this surveillance system could do in the wrong hands. Elena closes her fist around the flash drive. Tell me everything. 48 hours later, Elena stands in a different conference room. This one is smaller. No stage lights. No cameras. Just a long table with Marcus Hale on one side, his legal team on the other, and Elena alone at the end. Ms. Torres, Marcus says with his practiced smile. We're here to finalize the payment terms. My lawyers have prepared the standard paperwork. A woman in a burgundy suit slides a folder across the table. Sign here, here, and here. The first installment of 100 million transfers immediately. The remainder follows quarterly over the next year. Elena doesn't touch the folder. I have questions first. Marcus's smile tightens slightly. Of course. What concerns you? What are you planning to do with my solution? Implement it across our logistics networks. Optimize supply chains. The applications are endless. Just logistics? Primarily. Elena opens her bag, pulls out a printed document, slides it across the table. Then explain this. Marcus glances at the first page. His expression doesn't change, but his fingers tense on the table edge. It's Sarah's evidence. Internal memos detailing the defense contract. Budget allocations for surveillance infrastructure. Emails discussing data collection capabilities. Where did you get this? His voice is quiet now, dangerous. A source. Someone with a conscience. Elena leans forward. You're not building a logistics tool. You're building a surveillance system. And you need my solution to make it work. The lawyers exchange glances. One reaches for his phone. Marcus holds up a hand. Ms. Torres, you're misunderstanding proprietary research. I'm a mathematician. Mr. Hale, I understand exactly what I'm looking at. Elena's voice is steady now, strong. Those equations I wrote, they don't just optimize networks. In the wrong application, they could track financial transactions, communications, personal data, everything. That's not our intention. Then make it transparent. Elena pulls out a second document. I've prepared a revised agreement. You implement my solution under open source licensing. Independent oversight, public audits, no defense contracts, no data harvesting. Marcus's smile vanishes completely. That's not possible. Then I don't sign. And I go public with everything I know. You'll lose the money, I know. You'll be sued into oblivion. Probably. No one will believe you. I have more credibility in my left hand than you have in your entire career. Elena feels the words like a slap, but she doesn't flinch. Maybe, but the math doesn't lie. I'll publish the full implementation online. Free for everyone. Let the world decide how to use it, instead of letting you decide for them. Silence fills the room. Marcus studies her with new eyes. No longer dismissive, now calculating. You'd give up $400 million for a principal. I'd give up $400 million to sleep at night. One of the lawyers leans close to Marcus, whispers something. Marcus shakes his head. He stands, straightens his cobalt blue tie. You're making a mistake, Ms. Torres. I've made plenty of those. I'll survive one more. Marcus walks to the door, pauses. You could have been extraordinary. I already am, Eleanor says. You just can't buy me. He leaves. His legal team follows like a military formation. The door closes with a soft click. Elena sits alone in the silence. Her hands shake now that the adrenaline is fading. She just walked away from generational wealth, from security, from everything she dreamed about. But when she closes her eyes, she doesn't feel regret. She feels clean. 3 months later, Elena walks into a university lecture hall, not as a student, not as a tutor, as a professor. After she went public with Marcus's surveillance plans, the story exploded. Investigative journalists dug deeper. Congressional hearings were called. Marcus's defense contracts were suspended pending review. Elena became famous again, but this time for the right reasons. A dozen universities offered her positions. She chose the one that reminded her most of Mrs. Chen's classroom. Small, focused on teaching, committed to accessibility. She published her optimization solution under open-source licensing. Researchers worldwide are now using it for medical logistics, climate modeling, disaster response. The applications she always hoped mathematics could serve. Marcus tried to sue. His lawyers sent cease and desist letters, threatened her with defamation claims, but the evidence Sarah provided was too strong. The public attention too bright. Eventually he backed down, rebuilt his company's image, pivoted to ethical AI. Whether he means it or not, the world is watching now. Elena stands at the front of her classroom. 20 students sit in rows before her. Some are brilliant, some are struggling. All of them deserve a chance. Mathematics, she begins, is a language. It describes the universe, but like any language, it matters who's speaking and what they're saying. She writes an equation on the board. Simple, elegant. This formula can optimize traffic flow in a city, or it can optimize surveillance grids in a prison. The math doesn't care. We have to. A student raises her hand. How do we know we're using it right? Elena smiles, thinks of a loading dock conversation. A flash drive, a choice. You ask questions. You demand transparency. You walk away when the money tries to silence your conscience. She caps the marker. And you never ever let anyone convince you that your brilliance belongs to them. The story could have ended with Elena signing the contract, taking the money, living comfortably while Marcus built his surveillance empire. She would have been rich, famous, celebrated. But some victories cost more than their worth. Elena learned something that night on the loading dock. That solving the problem isn't enough. You have to solve it for the right reasons, with the right intentions, for the right people. The world is full of brilliant minds, but brilliance without conscience is just a sharper knife in dangerous hands. Marcus offered her $400 million. She chose something more valuable. Her integrity, her purpose, her ability to look her students in the eye and mean what she teaches. The greatest optimization isn't found in algorithms. It's found in the choice between what's profitable and what's right. Elena walks across campus as the sun sets. Her sweater, the same dusty rose one from that night, is worn but comfortable. Her bag is heavy with student papers. Her apartment is still small, but when she closes her eyes, she sees her solution written on whiteboards in classrooms worldwide. Being used to save lives, to distribute resources, to solve problems that matter. She didn't take the money, but she won something better. She won herself back. And in the end, that was worth more than all the billions in the world. Some problems aren't solved with equations. They're solved with courage.